All right, all right, all right. Good afternoon, good afternoon. Boy, it is crazy today, August 4th, Friday. Yay! Wow, boy, I tell you what, July, long month, huh?
Mhm. Yeah, it's a quick
Yeah,
year long month, July. It's kind of interesting, but yeah, no,
yeah,
I'm happy it's August now. We're holding the line for
yeah.
Q3 over here, and yeah, still full blown summer though, man. It's still going to be 85, 90 degrees out there for a while. So yeah, feeling pretty good, man. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And boy, we're so excited. So today we have Lauren Collins with us today from First Integrity. We're so excited. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. So Lauren is one of our partners and our business supporters in title, and been helping our agents help driving their business, creating their business, being a great resource from not only technological tools, but industry tools and knowledge and whatnot. So we want to spend a little time with you today and maybe learn a little bit more about you, me personally, and then some just things that you're hearing out there, some really good ideas, some things that are like some ahas maybe as we're in this interesting place in the market, which I think we're on that uptick. I think we're into August, and I think things are going to start to break loose. So I'm pretty excited. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'm Lauren Avery Collins. I am a title rep with First Integrity Title. I've been in the industry for 13, 14 years now, which is a little wild to say out loud, but super happy to be a part of it. I actually started my career as an escrow officer. So I think that's a little bit different than most title reps. I've actually been out down in the trenches, really figuring out how to get things closed and learning a whole heck of a lot. So I'm super grateful to be now transitioned into more of a sales and marketing role that kind of fits in with my educational background. I went to school for marketing, so I absolutely love that. But I could not have chosen a better company to be at with First Integrity. They're locally owned and operated, which fits with me. I'm also a Denver native. I grew up here in Littleton, over kind of by Columbine High School. So I love Colorado. I don't think I have any reason to leave. It seems like more people are coming here every day. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, and that's true. And you're one of the few natives left.
Right? I know.
Right,
Yeah, I feel like a unicorn sometimes, but
right,
so,
exactly. So tell me a little bit about, okay, so here we are, 2023. We're mid-year. What's happening in the world of title? Kind of give us that high level elevator pitch.
I mean, things have definitely shifted a bit after the pandemic. I think everyone is feeling and realizing that. But I feel like the pandemic also kind of opened up a lot of options for us when it comes to closing. I know typically we're dealing with just loads of paperwork, but because of COVID, I think there are several lenders who have opened up and started offering like remote online notarization. So that's been different and actually really awesome. Because I know sometimes if we have an out of state seller, we have to figure out how to send docs over, find a notary, get them FedEx back, make sure that we have turn times right. Now it's as easy as just having them hop on the computer to sign. So things are a bit different, and it's exciting. Also, just business wise, we're always looking for new ways to help our clients elevate their business. I think everyone is kind of taking a step back and re-strategizing right now. So we've been just really building with technology.
That's great.
Yeah, go ahead.
You have more to say?
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's really good to hear. I know that it was definitely nice to have those alternative ways of getting title done. And it remains nice today because we do have a lot of folks who are, moving into or out of Colorado that might be involved in a transaction. So having that flexibility of doing something online or having a remote notary go to, their kitchen table of their new house so they can sign the seller's documents or what have you. So having those options is really nice and having that flexibility there. But I definitely feel like title, and maybe this is no offense to you or other title reps out there, but title is kind of like a little bit of a mysterious subject for some, certainly our clients and even some of our newer agents. So could you maybe give us like a few sentences on like what title is, what the big benefit is for sellers and buyers, and kind of why they're paying these guys to file their deeds in their homes and stuff like that. It'd be great to hear kind of what's going on behind the scenes.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I know. I feel like real estate is the most fascinating side. Like title is not necessarily sexy or exciting, but it's really important. And so what we do is ensure that the new owner of the property has all of the rights to the property so that everything is transferred free and clear of any liens on title. Or I guess they always call it clouds on title. So that's what we're looking for, seeing anything that could possibly be attached to the property. And if it's transferring to a new owner, we want to make sure that we clear all of that. So we have two pieces, really: the title search, so the title department, and then there's also the escrow side where we are working with both buyer, seller, agents, lender, HOA, water, and making sure to get everything transferred from the seller to the new buyer. So that's a big piece of what we do. Also, of course, we're the smiling face at the closing table. So we can finalize everything with a smile for your clients and make sure closing day goes smoothly and perfectly.
Mm-hmm. That's the big day when you don't want any bumps, right? I had one recently that you had a few bumps. We got there, we got across the finish line, but definitely there was a few bumps on the way. No fault of title, actually. But yeah, and you've been a closer in a past life, if memory serves, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a closer for 7 years, so
Yeah. So
feels like a lifetime ago.
what does that look like? Because I know that can be definitely a little daunting for maybe some of our new clients or even agents who are their first closing. Sometimes there's we get put some of these documents in front of me that we may not recognize, especially some that aren't 100% consistent, like a loan package and things like that. But what was your strategy for like explaining kind of what some of these, some of that flow looks like to, maybe a first time home buyer, or even like, kind of making sure the new agent doesn't crash the car? We're getting to the closing table here. What was your strategy for kind of how to relay that information out there to folks who maybe weren't as familiar?
Yeah, I mean, I would say communication is key, obviously. So make sure that you're talking with your closer throughout the process. If we're going to have a power of attorney or something, that's important to know ahead of time, to know who's actually going to be signing. If it's a divorce transaction, stuff like that, we really need to know up front. But then also, before we get to the closing table, your closer will typically send out the settlement statements. So you should receive a settlement statement for your seller or your buyer, and that gives you a chance to really review that and make sure that all of those numbers look correct. And also, it's nice to review that with your client ahead of time so they know what to expect and they're prepared for the closing. There are several documents that are pretty straightforward as far as transferring taxes and water and things of that nature. And I think it's probably good to familiarize yourself with the common documents that you're going to see in every real estate package. But as far as the loan goes, I think that that's more of the lender side. I would probably try and, stay in your lane as far as that goes. We all have our specialties. So I would just make sure that you have trusted professionals that you can communicate with and that you trust to communicate those things with your clients. We don't have to know everything. That's why we build a team. So I think that that's probably the most important thing that I can say.
No, that's great. Yeah, that's great. So what about, so talk a little bit about, I think it's important, the support, right? And whether you're on the listing side of a transaction or the purchase side of the transaction, how maybe you particular, and then how First Integrity creates this wraps around their agents, right, as more of a resource, as part of the agent's team. What are some of those things that you can offer that are I don't want to say kind of intangible, but they're kind of intangible, right? It's not the mechanics of title, right? But it's the things that you can do to help the agents with their business.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, especially at First Integrity Title, we're like a family, and we really do build strong relationships with our clients to the point where when you're walking in for closing, the receptionist will usually greet you by name,
Yeah.
Hey, Mr. Agent, good to see you again, things like that.
Yeah.
But we also have just loads of marketing tools that we offer for our clients. So one of the big ones that First Integrity has, we're the only title company to have access to a system called Fluid Pro. And so that's similar to Remine, but it's a great farming tool. So that allows you to farm for what we've deemed hot properties around any of your purchases, or even maybe a neighborhood that you're interested in looking into. And those hot properties are properties that are likely to list in the next 12 months. So if you're going to be working on marketing strategy, we want to make sure that you are spending marketing dollars wisely and targeting people that are likely to move, right? Also, I'm a millennial, so I love the internet and doing anything with technology, and social media is so big. So I coach my clients on how to build their social media presence and maybe even how to do ads if that's something you're interested in. Also, with all of this new AI stuff, we're learning how to put together listing presentations with AI. It's crazy, all the stuff that's out there now. So I really will do anything to help you build your business. And really just, I like to sit down and figure out what people are doing, what's working, what's not, and really making a strategy or a business plan. I think a lot of people get licensed and just feel like they know a lot of people and it should be easy, but you really have to sit down and figure out your business plan. And I love doing that.
Kind of like a TV show, right?
Yeah, no, and we're big on business planning too. I think that's an important part, is kind of having a plan and having a structure. And one of the things we always encourage our agents to do is to make sure that we are partnering with people we can trust on the, specifically the title and the lending side. So what are like some of the best ways that a new agent can make title's job easier? Or if you had to give like a top 2 or 3 tips to a new agent, like, hey, here's the best way to like make sure we work well together, or how to like jumpstart your business, since you do a lot of business planning, just kind of a couple tips to our new guys to help them take off,
Yeah, I mean, onboarding is really important, right? So whenever we have a client's first deal, whether you're new or you're a seasoned agent switching title companies, I like to do an onboarding call with the closer. So we can kind of figure out what your communication preferences are. If you only like email and never answer your phone, then we'll try not to call you and only communicate via email, and vice versa. If you're big on the phone and you're running around like crazy and that's how you prefer things, we make sure that we tailor our services to your needs. So that's a big piece there. Also, if you are a new agent, it's nice for us to know as well. So that we can kind of guide you a little bit more on the process. So don't feel scared or nervous to tell us that this is your first deal or that you're new. We're happy to help. When it comes to reading the title commitment, I'm happy to go over those with any of my clients. I'm sure the closer is as well. Absolutely no problem at all. But just making sure also that we know how to contact the clients. That's some people love us reaching out to their clients directly. Others would prefer to be a liaison in between. And it can, if they have a client that doesn't know who the title company is, it can get a little scary. So definitely make sure that you tell your clients that they will be hearing from a title company, what their name is, things like that. Also, wire fraud is just so big right now. It's just getting worse all the time. So making sure that they do have the title company's information, everything is going in writing or verbally in person. In person is so important, or that they're calling the title company directly. Never respond to a random email you get. It's so scary what people can do now.
Yeah, it's I always use this as like a story, and it's pretty shocking, but it did happen to me. I was it wasn't First Integrity, so you guys dropped the hook, but there was another title company out there that is fairly large, that called me up one time. They're like, hey Andrew, how's it going? I was like, hey, like a front desk person I knew relatively well. I was like, oh, hey, how's it going? Doing well. They're like, hey, we need your they need your account information for this, so we can go ahead and wire this money. I was like, I don't have a closing with you guys. They're like, oh no, for the house that you're selling. And there was another Andrew W that was like, so like I probably popped up as the first Andrew W, the most frequent Andrew W in their Rolodex or whatever. But this person, and of all people, I actually knew this person and worked with him in a previous job that had the same first name with me and a different last name. So part of me wish I would take his money. He wasn't that nice of a guy, but no, I'm just kidding, guys. But yeah, so like it can happen to anybody, man. Just like one little mistake or one little assumption that. So just make sure you're calling into your title company, talk to them directly, or like Lauren said, go in there in person, because one little mistake can be a really, really big deal. So yeah, it was pretty close to a total incidental, I guess that'd be more of an accident than wire fraud, but yeah, pretty crazy, man. So yeah, it can happen to anybody. Be careful out there.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised at, it seems like as soon as we go under contract, the volume of the phishing emails that we get as realtors, and they look like they're from the title company. They look like they're an official document. And if you're not really watching your email, or if you're opening things up rapidly, like on a phone, I can see where people open these things up and then get viruses in their computer and everything else. I can also see where they just click through yes, 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 yes. And next thing you know, they've authorized or they've moved their own client's money. Right. So, we've even done, we added cyber insurance to our policies for the agents and to help protect them. But, this is a really good conversation. The next time you're in front of them is, just there's a lot of emails that come out, right? There's a lot of things that you're going to hear about. Just be careful when you open things up. Look at where it's coming from, the email address where it's coming from. And unfortunately, people don't do that all the time. But, there's been lots of stories nationally over up to $1 million have been, taken from somebody just by just a bad move here or there.
Yeah, I mean, and you can do your best to try to recoup that on the back end and things like that. And I imagine it's possible, but best case scenario, it's a process. And if you signed off and sent someone money, they're not under a lot of obligation to return it to you. You know what I mean? So definitely be careful. Make sure you're checking your bases and work closely, agents out there, with your title companies, and make sure your clients know, like, hey, that secured email, that's not good enough for me. I want to talk to someone either in person or someone that I call. I know that I'm talking to the right people before I send anyone any money. For sure.
Yeah, it happens fast. And I think we've kind of implemented a plan, whereas for the seller proceeds, we will only take that information in person, which we're the first to do it here in our market, but I wouldn't doubt if it becomes an industry standard.
Yeah,
I mean, it seems like it's the most safe way. And does it add a little, like, you have to go to a place or someone has to come to you or whatever? Sure, that's a little inconvenient, but it's a lot less inconvenient than having $500,000 land somewhere it's not supposed to, not be able to get back anymore. And then how do you close your transaction? So there's a bunch of things that can go wrong there that'll impact a lot of people. So make the drive, guys. There's plenty of convenient office locations out there.
Right.
So,
Yeah, you're exactly right. So what are some things that you're seeing today, summer 23, that are some really just great creative ideas, and maybe some ideas and things that you're working with some of your industry partners on?
Definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a little bit different this summer than it was last summer. Last summer, you don't even put the listing out and it's already under contracts with like 57 offers, kind of crazy. But now things are sitting a little bit longer and we have to do a little bit more marketing. I guess it depends on the area too, right? But I think people are getting back into doing more open houses. So I've been seeing a lot more strategy around that. And with the tool that I have, I'm seeing some door knocking happening again. I think, it's a really good way to get in front of people. I always recommend door knocking with two people, not just alone. But with this system that I have, you can search in the neighborhood around your listing and find out where those hot properties are. So you're not really wasting time going to every house, maybe the direct neighbors, but maybe doing like a neighbors only open house, right? And inviting those people. It could be like whatever you have an open house, it's majority neighbors anyways. I think it's nosy neighbors being interested in what the house looks like. What can my house sell for? Things like that. And I know a lot of people will try and do like a sign-in sheet or something along those lines. It's hard to get people to sign into something like that. But you have to really be engaging and figure out a way to get their number in person. And usually when someone's standing in front of you and you ask, it's hard for them to say no. And once you can save your phone number in there, maybe just put, your name, Andrew Wolf, realtor, put that in their phone. So if they're ever searching for a real estate agent, you're the one who's going to pop up, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think that to like an item of value as well, right? So you can help them out with something too. So if you are doing, a listing in the area, I think targeting, some advertising to the folks that are more likely to sell there than maybe the folks you hear back from, or maybe if you pick 25 or 50 people, you produce a few, just real short CMAs or RPR reports and kind of send those out to those folks in addition to kind of your just listed postcard, right? So, you can present them with item of value, do a little bit of work up front. It's kind of like like I think you alluded to earlier, Lauren, like I think a lot of us get our license and we just assume that, oh, hey, I have my license. My friends and family, the people nearby will use me, oh yeah, I played basketball with this kid when we were 12. They'll call me to be there to sell their house. It's like, no, man, it's not on anyone. No one owes you being their agent. It's on you to go out there and win their business. And providing an item of value like that, especially in a unique way, like you're talking about, is a good way to try to make an effort to win the business,
Yeah, definitely. I think, yeah, also you kind of just assume that people know you're an agent, right? So I think it's really important to check in with your sphere, figure out like who you've done business with, who's you've got a good rapport with, stay in front of them, ask them. Like those are your biggest supporters. Don't be afraid to do that. They are more than likely to help you. And I feel like they're the ones that are going to be able to give you referrals. I feel like most people know someone who buys or sells a house, like at least 10 of them a year, right? So it's really important to stay in front of everyone. And maybe if you just take the time to go through your phone book and check in with people, just ask how they're doing. What are you up to now? It's a pretty natural conversation. It doesn't have to feel awkward and forced. I do occasionally get the weird like Facebook, hey, I'm an agent now. Like it's a little aggressive. I would say just reach out to someone and check in on them. You don't have to just message them telling them that you're in real estate. I would probably ask, hey, how are you? First, something like that. And it could be a really smooth conversation.
Yeah, we'll make it about them, right? I think if we make it about ourselves, that's, like that's a tough way to start any sort of conversation or relationship, right? So make it all with you. That's tough.
Well, we talk about that with the agents, right, Andrew, is we're like, use social media tools to follow what's going on in people's lives. People right now, they're just getting back from vacations. Kids start school next week, especially in Denver. In other parts of the country, they're already back in school. And so it's a way to reach out in a different way that's nothing to do with real estate, right? Or if somebody's just, got engaged, or maybe they're pregnant or whatever, and there's all kinds of reasons to touch base with people and to keep that connection warm. And, and I think it's like you said, it's real genuine, but you had a good relationship with them, right? Now, there are some transactions that didn't go well. There's just something didn't go well. Sometimes it was a lender. Sometimes it was maybe another reason. Sometimes it was the agent, right? There's a lot of things that happen in there, but I think solidifying those relationships and continue to offer value, right? And what can we explain? What can we do? What can we help you with? Because I think we also assume too that people that we just bump into randomly, they just know everything about real estate. And it's like they don't know what's going on. And if you bought a house in 10 years, you have no idea what's going on with it, with interest rates, right? Or digital or fraud. I mean, they don't know any of this stuff. It wasn't around then, and things like that. So I think it's important to be in front of people and offer value to where you can help them first, right? And and then the natural thing, as Andrew said, just kind of flows together.
Yeah, man, real estate conversations are going to happen. I guess, I mean, we get that all the time. Like if someone asks me, people I talk to regularly will ask me, hey, how's the market going? Or people, if I'm engaged in conversations, they'll ask what I do. And it's, oh, I'm a realtor. So then one of the first questions they ask is, oh yeah, how's the market looking? So real estate conversations are going to happen, guys. Go have human being conversations. And if you go into everything with a mindset of, hey, we're going to force a real estate conversation to happen, it's going to feel awkward and stilted and weird. Just go have human being conversations, man. Talk about the weather, talk about the Rockies, talk about the Broncos. Stuff will happen on the backside that'll make your real estate conversations happen for you, man. It's been my experience anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. So Lauren, what do you like to do that's not work related? What's some of the fun things you do?
Oh, let's see. I mean, I love paddleboarding. That's been like, I don't know if that's up over COVID too, but I love getting out and doing that. And then my family actually lives in Glenwood Springs, so spend a fair amount of time out there on the river paddleboarding. I don't fly fish. Maybe one day my dad will teach me. I think he needs a boy. So, I'm like, luckily, my sisters are bringing in some grandchildren, so
takes the pressure off.
Someone to go fly fishing with him soon, but I like being out in the summer months in the mountains. I do not ski or snowboard. I am one of those born in Denver, does not ski or snowboard type people. But I also like painting in my free time. I am not good. but it definitely just releases some stress after the day. It looks like a 5-year-old, but
Yeah.
it's definitely something that I really, really enjoy doing.
Okay.
And just hanging out with my cats. I'm a cat lady. I've got 2 cats and I've got a python. So
Oh,
yeah,
you're living
do
dangerously.
Yeah.
I guess so, right? But somehow I've had her for like 20 years and she's still kicking and has never eaten me or sized me up to my knowledge. So
Yeah.
I think we're doing good, but just relaxing. I think this whole industry can be kind of a rat race sometimes. And so anytime that I can get some peace at home, I definitely welcome it.
Oh, good for you.
What kind of stand-up are you, like a yoga stand-up paddleboarder? Are you like doing rapids? What kind of stand-up what kind of stand-up paddle are we doing here? How extreme are we getting?
I mean, I can do a little bit of yoga, but
Okay.
I'm not going in rapids.
I think yeah, I think people do like go over rapids and stand-up paddleboards now, which seems a little crazy to me.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah,
gonna
the
do?
river can be a little funky, but like no rapids.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Well, the paddleboard in general is like it's such a good exercise for your core, right?
Mhm.
And just your balance and all this stuff. And especially even if you have a wind or rough water or any type of wave or wake, it really strengthens those muscles, and you have to focus. We've gotten into it as well. And you can't just be looking around and doing stuff, your body goes with you.
My in-laws live in Boise, and so like the Boise River, like I don't know, it's probably been 10 years or whatever, but they installed these like sets of locks that are like kind of in the downtown portion of the Boise River, and they like adjust them depending on the day of the week. So one day they have it set up for people who like paddleboard and canoe and all this stuff, so it's like little mini rapids, and the other day they flip it and then it's set up people to like surf. So you can like kind of get in there, and the way that they've made these things where the river flows and creates like little like surfing waves, people can kind of stay in
Oh.
it. It's a really cool thing they did down there. Yeah. So guys looking for a vacation home, reach out, man. But yeah, Boise's got a cool thing going with their river. Let's go. Let's make the river downtown Denver here do something cool besides, give fish 3 eyes or whatever it's doing.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Uh,
That's hilarious. Well, cool. Well, man, we're so happy you joined us today. I mean, I learned a few things. Andrew, did you learn a few things?
Definitely, man. And again, I've been lucky enough to partner with Lauren basically since I got the industry. So it's got to be 8-ish years now, right in that ballpark. So she's taken care of a lot of my clients over the years and will continue to do so. So I learn something every time. So I really appreciate taking the time to come on here and taking such good care of our agents and our clients, and looking forward to keeping it rolling, man. Thanks so much. Yeah.
So Lauren, I mean, I love your background. You got a phone number there. You got a little QR code. Is that the best way to get a hold of you?
I mean, yeah, this is my contact information here. So that's my cell phone. It's pretty much attached to me at all times. So I
Okay.
strive to return calls within 1 hour. Sometimes I'm in a meeting or what have you, but I definitely like to be open for communication for phone or text, email, of course. But then this QR code is actually for our real estate app. It is for Palm agents. So this is an awesome tool that you can use to create seller net sheets, buyer's estimates, fun infographics for social media. It's a really great tool. I think it's actually the best title tool in the nation. It's the most downloaded. So that's super exciting. And, sometimes you can't get a hold of a lender or your title person, and you just really need to do a quick estimate of some sort. This thing does it quickly, amazing. I highly recommend every agent use it. So there's a QR code there. We can also throw a link somewhere for that, but that's First Integrity Agent. But yeah, thanks so much for having me, and super grateful for our business partnership as well. It's kind of crazy. It's been that long, but
Yeah.
we're happy to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. And thank you again. I mean, for today, it's really great insight and great information.
All right, guys.
Awesome. Well, all right, everybody. Well, I hope you guys all having a wonderful weekend. The first weekend in August, I think it's going to be a hot one. So we'll catch up with you on our next Fun Fact Friday video.
Back to school Monday, kiddos. Learn lots.
That's right.
See you
Back to
guys.
school time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.